Okay, three environmental quality indices. So, in order to assess the current and potential future states of the environment in the developing member countries of ADB, Asian Development Bank, there were three comprehensive environmental quality indices based upon the four principal components were found. So that means the four principal component that we have found using principal component analysis technique, they are formed into three environmental quality indices, which is namely cost of remediation, environmental
First one,
elasticity,
cost of
and the third
remediation
one, environmental
or COR.
dialect. The COR is the cost of moving the present state of the environment to an acceptable level based on predetermined standards. So this particular concept of COR has three substeps. That is, first one is assessment of existing environmental emissions and degradations. Second, establishment of a set of environmental standards. The third one, estimation of the aggregated cost of achieving these environmental standards. So, in most of the countries in the world have already adopted the water quality standards of WHO, European Union, or the EPA, that is Environmental Protection Act. So the cost of remediation most uniformity existed in national standard. Considering an example, if a nation has an urban air quality at 600 micrograms per cubic meter and we want it to be down to 60 micrograms per cubic meter, we can calculate the cost of remediation. For example, the box 4.3 shows us air, water and land pollution targets. If we consider the example of air and water, the pollutants for air and water are mainly five, which includes chemical oxygen demand, COD, suspended solid, heavy metals, TSP, and sulfur. So in this, we have a target of 90% reduction in water and air pollutant emissions in 10 years. Whereas in land component, we have soil erosion control, which has a target of 70% of total land cover within 10 years. Second, we have municipal solid waste management, and the target is all municipal waste will be collected and disposed of immediately. And the source of this particular information is there from Peter Rogers from in the year 1997. Okay, in order to estimate the COR, we need to estimate the aggregate cost of meeting the environmental standards, which is a monetary unit that can be an effective counterweight to traditional economic indicators such as GDP. The COP of different components of environment may be added or subtracted freely. This particular COR also avoids the problem of weighing environmental indices. Also, these are numbers that we can work with on a spreadsheet and are responsive to what Indonesian Minister Email Salim was seeking. That means a measure of environmental losses which is estimated in terms of economic terms. That is, we have find a measure of finding the environmental losses in the terms of economic ways. Also, there is a table 4.2 which shows the major cost of remediation COR, which is highest for the PRC province for the land, because there is a tremendous soil erosion due to poor quality of soil and partly because of overfarming. In this case, the overfarming refers to the Chinese, which has been farming the same soil for more than 3 years now. The conventional wisdom says that main problem of the PRC is air pollution, but the air is relatively inexpensive to clean compared to land. Remediation of the land is far the most important and expensive. Likewise, we can show here the PRC. This is the annual cost of redemption for different developing countries of ADB, that is Asian Development Bank. All the figures which is shown in this figure is in there in $1 million. So for PRC, the COR of land is very high compared to other countries. Then the second point of three environmental indices, environmental elasticity. So this second comprehensive index, elasticity, is a key to price and income elasticity in economics. The principal merit of environmental elasticity is its dynamics, because this particular environmental elasticity uses data from 2 points in time on two axes. That is, it captures environmental changes with respect to economic trends, thereby making it a trend indicator as opposed to state indicator. If we compare it with the COR, that is cost of remediation, COR tells us the state of the environment, whereas environmental elasticity tells us the direction on which the trend is going. So the box 454 summarizes the of environmental elasticity. That is, environmental elasticity is the ratio of aggregate percentage change in the environment to the aggregated percentage change in the economy, and it is based on price and income elasticity, which is found in economic literature. And the principal merit of environmental elasticity are twofold. It is dynamic. Also, it is a trend setter as opposed to state setter. So if we set up a chart with environmental aggregates and economic aggregates at two variables, it is very possible to track rate of economic and environmental changes and the percentage of change, which is shown in the figure 4.4. So in this figure 4.8, there are four quadrants, namely quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Out of that, quadrant 1 shows the positive environmental change related to positive economic change. For example, Sri Lanka is a country which achieved quadrant 1 status. That is, the Sri Lanka is a country which have a healthy balance, both an improving economy and environment. Quadrant 4 shows improving economy while environmental quality is declining. For example, PRC. Quadrant 2 shows an improving environment and an economic downturn. For example, Russia. Quadrant 3 shows it is possible to have both negative environmental change and negative environmental. So this is the figure 4.8 we are talking about. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So quadrant 1 are both positive environmental change along with positive economic change. In quadrant 2, positive environmental change but negative economic change. Quadrant 3, negative environmental change related to negative economic change. Quadrant 4, negative environmental change related to positive economic change. This particular figure is similar to number quadrant figure, and the source of this figure is taken from the book of Peter Rogers. Now, the last out of three quality indices, that is development diamond and environmental diamonds. Development diamonds and environmental diamonds are shown in the figure 4.9. What they illustrate a country's or region's relative performance with respect to four indicators. These indicators should be independent from each other. This particular development diamond and environmental diamonds are introduced by World Bank in the year 2004. The development diamond is especially useful in showing a particular country's performance with respect to a regional average. The first step in constructing a development diagram is to determine the regional average for each of the four indicators. The axes on the diamond plot are then scaled according to percentage of regional value. The regional average diamond is then plotted with four equal sides with the vertices at 100% on each, as shown here. So there, if you look carefully, there are two lines. One is shown by gray color, whereas other is shown by black color. So in cases, each point on the two axes are there at 100%. Also, it is the development diamond under generic development and environmental diamonds. In this, we have four factors, that is life expectancy, GDP, access to safe drinking water and air. So in this case, this gray one is different compared to this black one, whereas The gray one is called as regional average, whereas the black one is called hypothetical country or the ideal country. So in the second diagram, this is the water, air, ecosystem and land. This damage. This is the regional average, 100% on each two axes. Four indicators are used here. So each indicator is then plotted at hypothetical country as a percentage of regional average. If all indicators are good, for example, considering the access to safe water, life expectancy, etc., then a diamond larger than the regional average signifies a country performing much better than neighbor. From the figure, if we see that hypothetical country is performing better than average in terms of schooling and GDP per capita, but worse than average for access to safe drinking water and life expectancy. Usefulness of the development diamond approach is the ability to quickly assess the performance of given country with respect to regional average. This is the regional average. In this case, the black one is for PRC, the gray one is the average. It has been abbreviated in terms of water, air, ecosystems and land. And second is for the country called Pakistan, and it is the average, and this is the actual of that thing: air, water, land and ecosystems. So with this, we have completed this particular unit. Thank you.